Hello, hello. What's up? How is everybody doing today? It's Wednesday, so you know what that means. It's Live with Nana, and I'm so hype. Feel the hype about my guest today, Dr. Judy Wright. Y'all, we're about to have an amazing conversation about wellness and how all that stress you got, it ain't cute. All right. And we're going to talk about some things to help you get yourself together. All right. So if you are joining us live, definitely pop in the comments, say a hello. Even if you're catching this on a replay, drop replay in the comments because we love to know that. And also, full disclosure, sometimes technology does what technology does. And sometimes I can't see all the comments, okay? Or it'll be like LinkedIn user. And then I'll go look later and I'll be like, oh my gosh, it was so and so and such and such. So if I don't say your name or read your comment, it is not personal. It's just technology doing what it does. But still keep the conversation going because we love to have you included in our conversation this morning. All right, let me do a little read up, just a little something about Dr. Judy, okay? So she is a physician. She's a wellness guru, also a performance strategist. Most important to me, though, Dr. Judy is hilarious. She will make you laugh. She will give you some straight talk. She will tell you a story, just will have your knees buckling. She always is talking about different ways to elevate your professional well-being. She's the CEO and founder of JW Health Consulting, and she's also the author of this amazing book. Get ready for the title. Girl, get your life off the fault line. The Busy Professional's Guide for Mastering Balance to Shift from Overwhelmed to Empowered. And also, fabulous fun fact, she is one of my clients. Woo, 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 woo. Dr. Judy Wright, welcome.
Thank you, Nana. Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
We love it. And she looking fly, y'all. Let her know how fly she looking in the comments, okay? It's just a casual Wednesday morning. You know, that's what she do. All
Just
right,
put a
so
little stuff together.
a little something. All right, Dr. Judy, let's dive right into this. So you're a trained physician, right?
Yes.
You have been a doctor in the family medicine healthcare space, right?
Yep.
So my question to you is, how did your relationship with wellness come to be? Because I see, and you let me know your thoughts on this. I do see a difference between healthcare, as we have traditionally known it, and wellness. I would love to hear your thoughts on that and how you grew into this wellness space.
So, a couple of things. I think some of it is cultural background. I come from a West Indian family. And so, easily it'll be like, yeah, not that they had any problem going to the doctor, but knowing that you come from an island where you didn't always have access
Mm,
to healthcare,
mhm.
you had to do stuff on your own, right? So there's lots you hear about using the bushes. There's
Yeah.
lots of keys. You get that bush out. The bushes will make teas, make salves.
Right.
There's different things you do. The alcohols. It's not just
Mm.
for drinking. They're for rubbing the middle of your head. They're for rubbing the bottom of your feet. They're for like and then So I grew up in that situation, and it's funny
Okay.
because a lot of times if you ask them why, they would say just because. But as I
Mm.
start to go through medical school and start to learn the science of a particular thing, I would say, huh.
Wow. Wow.
you know, that now, it's like they didn't necessarily know why, but they knew it worked. And I'm like,
Yeah.
so that's
Yeah.
why this worked this way, but this thing worked this way.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
I was already, even though I'm in medical school and I'm learning about all of Western medicine, my brain is starting to link it up to alternative medicine, right?
Mm.
And so, you know, when I was practicing as a practicing physician,
Mhm.
I know for some people it could make them uneasy to hear that their patients are using alternative medicine because that's not necessarily in their book, right?
Right.
That's not on the test, right?
Right. Right.
So, but for me, it was important to me listen, because also as you're building a rapport, part of their wellness is to have somebody they can trust to talk to about those things. That affects, if you poo-poo them, they're either gonna not tell you, stay with you and not tell you,
Right.
change you and go to a different doctor, or change you and go to no doctor.
Wow.
Okay. And so now you're hamstring because you don't, if they stop telling you, you don't know. If they change you and don't go to a doctor at all, or change you to go to another doctor and not tell them because they got poo-pooed, we're not doing them justice. So that's kind of, for me, also the mental piece, that connection that they get with their doctor. So that's for me all around, even as a practicing family physician, that was always big to me. And fun fact, I was a sociology major in college, even though I knew I was going to medical school. I was a sociology major. So I wanted to understand the science behind people, right?
Wow.
I know
Okay.
that's what psychology majors do too, but understanding community,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
how people interact in the community, and why it's important, why representation matters, why it's important to have somebody that looks like them, like that they can trust.
Yeah.
Was big for me. So that's the wellness piece.
Listen, I love this so much. Hey, Christy, coming in from Florida. And I know for the Black women that are watching this, the minute you hit with the bush and the alcohol, and just put a little
My
bit on that baby's
Caribbean
tongue,
people, my
right?
African people, actually even my Southern people,
yes. We all know those
yes.
things that mama, grandmama, auntie had some other recipe or remedy for something, right? Some kind of ailment, and then you'd be like, that's wild. But today, best believe every time I catch a cold, I'd be like, garlic, ginger, lemon, and onions, and be boiling that thing up, because that's what I was taught
And
from my
frankly,
mom.
that's what people are doing now, right? They're talking about, all of this alternative and sometimes Eastern medicine, when they're doing the acupuncture and the acupressure, and they're like, this is, and the Asian people are like, we've been doing that, right? So when they're like, oh, you should get herbals, that's what we was calling bush tea. We've been doing that, right?
Tell it. Tell it.
So,
Tell it. That's me. Nadia said, you said a whole word. I know that. Okay, so let's bring this conversation to the Black women at work, right? And I love what you were saying definitely about representation, and how I think Black women, we recognize what's happening in the space around stress and taking care of ourselves, and how important it is to seek out physicians, caretakers, people in the wellness space who look like us, because you're going to understand what we go through. So, in your experience with the clients that you've been working with, what are some big themes? What are the things that you are seeing that Black women are coming to the table and being like, child, I need some help?
Yeah. It's funny because sometimes you don't feel seen, and sometimes you feel seen a little bit too much, but for the wrong things. Even though there's a bunch of right things that you're doing, sometimes you get seen for the wrong things. So that's a part of it. A lot. There's also and work with me here. We come in with stuff on our shoulders. We're trying to represent the culture. We're trying to represent the family. We're trying to, we come in with all this stuff that's laden on our shoulders. The ideology that we need to be 5 times better just to get in the spot. That's it. That's on the back of your neck. Like,
I felt it. I was like, I gotta sit up straight.
How many of us are over degreed just to be seen, right? So that degree a lot of times is not all done by the time you get the job. No, you got a job and going back to school to get the degree, and then
Mm,
you got the next job and you're going back to school to get the degree, or sometimes you're doing 2 degrees just to move up one level.
yes.
You know,
Yes.
so it's all of those things,
Yeah.
right? But it's that feeling. You don't want to be scapegoat. You don't want to be thrown under the bus. You feel the need to do more. And I think as a woman, period, and the studies are showing it, they're doing more just to move up. They're taking on more just to move up, just so I can do it, because there's this notion that either you can't do it or, oh, here she comes. It's quiet as kept. Here she comes. Oh, is she married? She's probably going to want to have a child. And when she has a child, she's not going to be able to put in as much. And da 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 da. And right?
Yes.
So there's all of that. And then you do go home. And then you are on your second or third shift, whatever you want to call it. Because now you're putting in a lot of work there. You're the one cooking. You're the one making sure the house get clean. You're the one that's this. You're the one making sure that the children do their homework correctly. Don't even get me started on that. You're the one.
Because I don't know what that homework be like today.
You're the one just doing all of that and trying to keep it together. And I don't just mean as a single mother.
That's right.
Your partner could be fully there.
Mm-hmm.
It's still rests on you. Fun fact, quick fact.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't sure I wanted to have kids.
Mm.
My husband wanted to have kids, and I wasn't sure I wanted to have kids, but I had them and I loved them. However, the joke is that at one point my husband said, "Well, if we have a child, I promise." Because I said, I'm selfish. I don't want to give up all my time. He said, I promise I will take 75% of the responsibility. I looked at him. I laughed so hard I didn't. Like, I was on the floor grabbing my stomach. We know that ain't true. And he said it with all his heart, and he meant it.
Oh, my God.
It's going to rest on the women most of the time. And so,
yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot for Black women. It's a lot for women, and it's a lot for
sure.
Black women. And I don't say that men are not going through stuff. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, we hear you.
But it's a lot for women, and it's a lot for Black women, because there's a lot of cultural stuff in the background, and there's a lot of systemic stuff. All that idea of imposter syndrome. Everybody, most people can't be wrong, right? And so, is it really imposter syndrome, or is it the system and how it's set up?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
y'all, I hope you see why I love Dr. Judy so much, because she gonna tell you exactly. If you were like, why did she just read my whole life? Put me in the comments, because I love the fact that you started talking about the experience for women in the workplace, but how much that it doesn't just clock out at 5 or 6 or when you leave the office or shut down the laptop, right? Like it rolls into what happens at home and what's going on with your partner and your kids, and and then how you're going to show up and the culture and the expectations and what you were taught, and then you doing it again and doing it again. Like, I love the fact that you're talking about everything holistically, because I feel like that's sometimes the missed thing with employers and bosses, and not understanding that experience for Black women and for sure women as a whole. Nadia, put that me in there. I see you, girl. Look, and then Portia said the amount of free labor women do is wild. That's why men live longer when they're married.
It's doggone near a scam, but we ain't gonna talk about that.
We ain't gonna talk about that. That's a whole different live stream. That's a whole different live stream. Okay, we go stay on target and on track. So, all right, so we understand the challenges, right? Talk to me a little bit about, and even if this is coming from your own experiences, like, what are the things, and because we love to leave people with some actionable things. And I think it feels like too, in this space, this isn't a space where it's necessarily you gonna go down and write a list and be like, tomorrow, next day, next day. You know what I mean? Like, this is a lifestyle shift. But talk a little bit about what are some of the things that you begin to recommend to the women that you work with when they are in the scenarios that you just described, and they're and the other thing is, I feel like hearing like your self is compromised, right? Because the job, the partner, the children, right, the culture, everything is, all your energy is going there, and you are so depleted, so you got nothing left for yourself. Like, for a woman who's in that space, how do you begin to help her do more for her?
So, two things that you said that I really love. You said lifestyle shift, and you said something about yourself. It almost feels like yourself is compromised, and it is. What happens, right? And yes, I'm going to say from experience, but my own personal experience, but experience to those I've spoken to, is that you lose yourself. And not just this, oh, you lose yourself. It's that you're so busy, you can't see yourself. And when the time comes, when you have to do something with somebody, you have to go and talk to them so that you guys can work together to make decisions and stuff. When the time comes to make a decision on what goes first, you don't have to ask anybody about you. So you know what you do? You make an automatic decision to put yourself last. I don't have to ask nobody that. I'll put that on the back burner to get all of these things done. Right? And before you know it, it's like you're not doing anything for yourself. You're not protecting yourself. You're not engaging in any self-care, right? Ooh, what are boundaries? What's that? Right? And even if you had them, suddenly it's like, where they go? Did they just grow feet and walk off? Right? You're not paying attention to the stress anymore. You've actually normalized it. Like it's become a part of your essence, right? And the truth be told, some of us are wearing it like it's a crown or a cape. That we have so much going on, right? That we're stressed, but that's because we are productive, we are busy, we are this, we are that. Women used to, because I used to do it, and you could tell me, and any of them, and any of our audience could tell me, we used to happily, proudly talk about our skills of multitasking.
Yep.
Now my husband's confused. Because then when he tries to tell me something, I said, you don't see me doing something? I don't have that capability anymore. Like, whatever I was doing in my 20s, 30s, even 40s, is gone.
I know that.
I don't have that capability anymore. It is one thing at a time. Right? Because multitasking is not the great thing that we all made it out to be. Yes, you're getting more done, but how well are you getting it done? Quantity is happening, but is quality happening? And it comes to a point where you're that stressed out and not taking care of yourself that you'll start to realize and feel, I'm not doing anything well. Nothing's being done well. Everything is I'm not going to say the word half-aid.
Got it.
So you start to realize all that multitasking, what was it doing for you? It worked well for a time, but you can't sustain at that level. Right? So I would say things that people can do, mindset. With that lifestyle shift, prior to that lifestyle shift has to come to mindset shift. The realization that we were told that the power woman can do it all. No, we cannot.
Ooh, did you hear her? Say it again.
No, we cannot. And drop your cape right
Mm.
now, because you can't do all, and you shouldn't have to.
Mm.
You shouldn't have to, because all doesn't have to be done by you.
Yeah.
All doesn't have to be done by you. So it takes a mindset shift on what it means to be a successful person. I know your
Yeah.
audience are mostly women, a successful woman out here.
Yeah.
You have to
Yes.
shift your mindset on what you really consider success, because that's the other thing. We often wear what other people consider success as what we now consider success. So it takes a mindset shift first and foremost, because if you can't shift that, everything else is not gonna, you know, work for you. You're just adding on to stuff and it starts to feel like work. I got to do this. I got to do
Mm.
that to manage my stress. Ooh, the self-care, that seems like work too. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's the first thing, is going to be a mindset shift. And then the second thing is going to be, it's time to start prioritizing yourself. And when
Yeah.
people hear that prioritizing yourself piece, it's like, why? They start to feel guilty, like it feels selfish. And I
Mhm.
know selfish usually means you're going to do you regardless of everybody else. I don't care what happened to you, right? And I am one of those people where everybody's like, self-care is not selfish. It's necessary. I agree with the last part, but the people that want to scream from the rooftop that self-care is not selfish are usually the people that's not doing it right.
Mm.
Right? Stop trying to justify it. And
Ooh.
make sure that you're prioritizing your self-care. Your self-care needs to be for you, because when you do it like that, you limit yourself on how you're going to care for yourself. Self-care has to be a little bit selfish. And if you look at selfish, I'm drawing a blank on his name now, but it's a physician, not a physician, a psychologist. And he
Mhm.
breaks down they're selfish, but you don't even care, and actually to the detriment of others, you're gonna do you, right?
Mhm.
But then there's self-ish, like how we say, oh, that's red-ish. And
Mhm.
and the suffix ish part means belonging to or concerned with. So who do you
Mm.
belong to? You belong to
Mm.
yourself. You should be concerned with yourself. Being concerned with yourself does not mean you're not concerned about others,
Right.
but be concerned with yourself first. And so when you start to build what your self-care routine is going to look like, it needs to look like you. It needs to look like what's going to recharge you, cause you to regroup, cause you to come back bigger and better and able to do what's going to allow you to be resilient. Your self-care needs to look like you. So if you're like me, who used to love to do her nails, it's not done. Because I don't know when it happened. I don't know if it was after my second child. I don't know when it happened, but yeah, nails don't do it for me. I will do my nails if there's a big event, but
Yep.
because I'm sitting in there and it's stressing me out just sitting there. Now we might have a fighting chance if somebody comes to my house and do my nails,
Well, come on.
but I don't feel like sitting in your nail salon getting my nails done.
Right.
And I don't like people playing with my feet. So I would say getting my nails done is something I do when I have to do it. It is not my form of self-care, but for
Mhm.
anybody who it is their form of self-care, I say go get it done,
Yeah.
right?
Right. Right.
So you do that, you build self-care around yourself. And then um time management is a big piece. You got to
Mm.
manage your time. I'm not going to go deep into that, but I will go into boundaries. If you don't have no boundaries, go get you some now, 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 now.
Yeah.
You need boundaries, and boundaries are not to be negative to other people. It is how you protect yourself. It's actually a part of your self-care. It's actually a part of your stress management. It is to
Mm-hmm.
protect yourself. It is to protect your values. It is to protect your goals.
Mm-hmm.
So you put boundaries there, and then here's the neat trick. You maintain those boundaries. Because if you start to let those boundaries slip too much, are there things that you're gonna emergencies that happen that you have to, or there's certain things that I can give an inch, but even that, put the except in this case, write it down,
Mm-hmm.
right? But there are boundaries, and if you start to let slip, there's somebody with their eye out like this, looking for that hole that they could slip right into to widen the opening
Mm.
of your boundaries so your boundaries are no more. And it's
Mm-hmm.
easy and it's insidious. So you have to do the work to maintain your boundaries. I done said too much.
Listen, ev- everything was right and exact. Okay. It's listen, the Nadia is talking about, she totally resonates with that. I had to speak up because her piece was always negotiable.
Mm, mm, mm.
I
Okay,
said,
Nadia.
right?
I
Um,
see she's realizing it's not.
this,
It's not.
it's not. It's not. And Portia's talking about the generation uh transformatting information to stop the cycle. Come on, of your daughter so they can have a soft life. Ha ha. Ha ha.
Not the soft life.
Okay. um, but like I just really appreciate how you there were a couple words you said, but I love the word about protect and like redefining how and what things are to what you need them to be, like
Yeah.
the success, right, the self-care, right, even like the boundaries, like you defining that, because for so long you let somebody else do it, and that gets you, yeah, get you in the mess you in now.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then you're like, okay, I have to protect myself even more because it's not working, right? And and it sounds like that's a space of like recognizing like it ain't working. If it's not working and you keep doing the same thing over and over again, that's we're on the definition of insanity at that point.
Right.
Woo. Okay, now listen. We had 9:29, but we gonna go a little past 9:30 because there's too many things in there. We gotta unpack a few things, and I also want to make sure we get into some stuff so people feel like they I want to say not have what they need, but they begin to just shift, like you mentioned, just shift that
Mm-hmm.
mindset
Mm-hmm.
space, right? And so we were talking about work and the imposter syndrome and things coming onto your plate, right? And constantly that need for you to feel like, especially for Black women and women of color, women of whole, but I'm gonna stick to my peoples, that I need more, I need to do more and achieve more to get more,
Mm-hmm.
right? Why we like that?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm like. Why be like that?
And
There's so
some
many reasons.
and so many reasons. In some cases, um, we were socialized to be like that. Like there's a lot of airwicks that's been in our ears, from society at large, from the culture.
Mhm.
There's a lot of airwicks, um, and and sometimes while the culture is telling us to rise, it's also telling us to humble ourselves. And so that plays mind games with us.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and humble ourselves can come in a number of ways, including how we present ourselves to the world, right? So
Yeah.
we want to look the part, but we don't want to look like we trying to be above, the people in our neighborhood,
Mm.
or we're trying to outshine the boss, or we're trying to, so uh, the way our brain just goes round and round and round, we stay with decision fatigue. Like
Mm.
we
Yes.
stay with decision fatigue, and
Yes.
so it's a lot. It's a lot, and
Yeah.
we'll just keep going and going and going and going until we find, or in the search of, because we don't always find it, and in the search of that success that other people say is success. How many
Mhm.
of us from different cultures, not even just the Black diaspora, but
Mhm.
um, different other cultures. I have very close Asian friends, very close, and we will sit around and laugh because it sounded like we were talking to the same parents.
I know that. Yep.
Right? You either were going to become a doctor, a lawyer, a
Tell
nurse,
it. Right.
an
Engineer.
engineer.
Yup.
Right? So it's like, woo, all the way on that side of the world to this side of the
Right.
world. What is going on? And if
Right.
you even mention I'm going to be an artist, who's going to be an artist? Before the before the Food Network, I could never say I'm going to be a chef. Like I was going to try to be a chef and make
Right.
who,
Oh my gosh. Yep. Yes, a fact.
right?
Yes.
So we just try
Yeah.
we stay trying to find that balance, but it's not
Mhm.
necessarily our balance. And that's why I talk about the mindset shift, so that you could really start. A lot of people talk about finding your purpose, but before you can do that, you have to shift your mindset a bit and find out what what how do I feel good in my skin? How do I feel good in my body? What feel like balance to me? You
Yeah.
know, what makes me
Yeah.
feel even keel? And now,
Yeah.
what feels like success to me? What is it that I really want would look like success? And then we're talking about finding your purpose and your passion.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Ooh, the words. Listen, Portia talking about you done given us and gotten us all together in 30 minutes as a performance coach. Imagine what it would be like working with you one on one.
That's what I'm saying,
Right.
Portia. Yes, girl.
Yes. And it's so true. Nadia is saying there's so many thoughts I fight in my head before I say certain things in the corporate or business environment, because the labels that get dropped on Black women are mostly negative.
Yeah.
That is and I hope one thing you're understanding and see is like you are not alone. Like this is a common thing that is happening, and a lot of these things, to what Dr. Judy is sharing, are circumstances that are outside of you. Right? There are things that are happening, as she mentioned earlier, that are systemic, that have to do with other people's definitions of things. And I'm hearing a call to shift the mindset, but shift the way that I define things, is what I'm receiving from what Dr. Judy is sharing. I'm like, I need to be the one to
And
determine these things.
that's right. And also it could help you shift the way you show up. Like that's 24. Okay, maybe 5 years ago, I could never imagine being on anybody's live, on the
Mm.
YouTube, being speaking on stages. I could never imagine that, because how I was showing up was different, and I felt the need to conform. One of the things that
Mm.
attracted and led me to you is that I saw you one day and I was like, That's how she's showing up. And I didn't look at it. I was like, she just showing up in full authenticity, right? And the funny thing is, people always knew me to say what I mean and mean what I say, but how I looked didn't necessarily come across that's what you were going to get. Now, you might think you were going to get anger, right? Or whatever, because sometimes a dark blue suit, a dark black suit, and that's all you wear, might come across as no nonsense. But there was so much more to me. Yeah, I'm no nonsense, but I also laugh a whole lot and, and like to joke around. And actually, when I came to you, if you remember, one thing I said was, I love color.
Yeah.
I love color. I just don't know how to go about wearing it. Still coming off as a professional I am, and you approaching me as a professional, but not being afraid to talk to me, afraid to this. How do I import that? So that's why I said, when I saw you, I was like, and how she put them colors together? Because that's the other thing. I'm not trying to come out here looking like Homie the Clown. I just, how are we going to do it?
Y'all, this now you're just getting the behind the scenes of what it's like when Judy and I are on our one-on-one call. This is officially the cut up, but I love, of course, what you are saying, because there is an element of how you see yourself.
Yeah.
Right, in the wellness space, and of course your body image, your relationship to your self-confidence, all of that impacts how you show up, right? And how you feel, and like you said, that authenticity piece, because the more you get that conviction and sure-footed in the way that you are in a space, and know outwardly, internally, we are in sync. Like, things will shift. The way people respond to you will shift. The way people honor those boundaries will shift. The way people talk to you will shift. Like, things, it will happen. It will 100% happen. And I love and so grateful of you speaking about how that evolution happened for you in your own body image, and sense of self-care when it relates to your style. Okay, let me begin to wrap this up, because y'all already know we could go just be straight talking about this for a long time. Right. Okay, and definitely, and let me pop Dr. Judy's, as she's finishing up. I'm going to pop her a link to her LinkedIn profile in the chat, because definitely, if she shared something that just caught you, please reach out. Like, these are the moments when you hear somebody say something and it moves you, message the person and let them know it moved you. Like, that's you don't know how amazing that could help that person just as much as you, to know that they are in their place of passion, that they're in their place of purpose, and that it's making an impact. So definitely reach out to Dr. Judy, and of course, cop the book, because the book, you're gonna get your life off the fault line, sis. Okay.
I mean, and y'all, look, y'all, the cover is cute, so y'all gotta get the book. I mean, come on. Y'all gotta get the book. wellnesswithdrjudy.com/faultline, or you could get it on Amazon.
Come on, we gonna put them links in the chat. So, okay, so just in part, how would you, what is my last and kind of final question for you right now? What would you leave with someone? Actually, you know what? I'm going to say this. If you were talking to yourself in the mirror, okay, on one of your most stressful of moments or days, what would you be saying to yourself?
Well, the first thing I would say is, girl, you better hold your KB kaboom down. Do not blow this place apart. Okay, hold it together, girl. Hold it together. That's the first thing. And then, the very first thing I usually do, honestly, and it may sound, oh, but seriously, the very first thing I do is I deep breathe.
Mm.
And I don't just deep breathe. I don't deep breathe thinking about that thing. I deep breathe focusing on the breathing, the inhalation, the exhalation. I tell people, when you take a deep breath, you're filling up your lungs. It pushes, your lungs get bigger, so it pushes your diaphragm, and your diaphragm goes down. If your stomach is still stuck in, it's still,
Mm. Mm.
pulled in,
Mm-hmm.
you're not taking a deep breath, because the way that diaphragm goes down, your stomach should be out. This is not time to be cute. I don't care. Let that stomach stick out. I don't care if you're at work. Let that stomach stick out. You are doing God's work
Mm.
so that you don't go off on somebody. Let that stomach stick out. When you inhale, then when you exhale, that stomach will go right back in. But what I want you to do is focus on the motion of air going in,
Mm.
holding it, and then air going out. Do that 5 to 10 times, or do it over a minute. You would be shocked. I
Hmm.
did this with some women over a live. They just asked me, well, what would you do? And I did it with them. And I just thought, okay, I'll do it with them. I'll show you what you do. And when we were done, they were like, oh my goodness, I feel light. You would, because
Mm.
I told them, do not, I know it's hard, but I want you to focus on don't focus on the people here. Don't focus on getting that breath in correctly, that stomach going out, then focus on getting it out
We
correctly.
about to do this right now, Judy. We about to,
Oh,
yeah, let's
see, you
go.
know, I said, should shut up.
Yep. That's how we gonna end this thing.
Mhm.
Come on, guys. I'm closing my eyes.
So what we're going to do, and I'm going to count it off. We're going to breathe. We're going to inhale for 4, hold for 3, exhale for 5, and we're going to do it for 3 rounds. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So let's start. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold it, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold it, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold it, 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now slowly open your eyes. You good? I don't want to laugh. You look like, now I'm going to lay back and take a nap.
Because I'm on my couch and this is the wrong place after doing some deep breathing.
But how did that feel for you, Nana?
It felt great, and like you said, the focusing on the breathing and
Mhm.
my diaphragm and listening to that and not thinking about, okay, I gotta put the link in the chat, and okay, and let me make sure. And what time is it? Okay, are we over? I was just like, and all I was just like, and listen to your voice.
Yeah. And if you don't get it the first few times, that's all right. Keep doing it, because it becomes easier just to close those thoughts out, even in the moment. And that's what mindfulness is. You're staying in the moment. You're not judging yourself. And you're trying to keep out those thoughts so that you can focus on be there now. You're walking. If you're having a mindful walk, all of a sudden you realize, I can hear those birds. I can hear this.
Mhm.
I can even hear a little wind rustling in the leaves. You're just focusing. Mindful eating. You're eating a meal. So a lot of us, do you remember how you ate the last meal? Because a lot of us just eating, swallowing, eating, swallowing, eating, swallowing. We done in 10 minutes, if that.
Mm.
But when you sit down and actually savor the meal that you may have prepared for yourself, now you can taste
Mhm.
all the different flavors in that meal, and you're enjoying the meal. And now it takes a little bit longer, but that's okay. So I always tell people, it gets mindfulness practices and do something every day mindful, because that's very helpful to center you and to ground you.
That's amazing. Listen, I don't know about y'all, but I'm feeling excellent. I'm feeling energized. I'm definitely feeling relaxed. I'm feeling also like we gonna set up some more of this boundary definition because I don't want nobody peeping through that hole and widening that gap. But this was a phenomenal show. Dr. Judy Wright some love in the comments. Okay. We thank her so much for spending some time with us.
Thank you.
Listen, you already know every time. Connect with her on LinkedIn, cop the book. It's going to be a good mindset shift and a good place for you to get started if you know you need some wellness up in your life. Okay. All right, y'all. We will see you next week, Wednesday. Boys.